Good day channel subscribers, so this video is only for you guys and let's talk a bit about Ayato and just one or two miscellaneous topics. Now the background footage is from the overworld and this is because someone did ask me for a bit more overworld content as opposed to just the spiral abyss. So yeah, this is just me goofing around, so enjoy. Now with regards to Ayato, I'm skipping him. I'm skipping him on both of my accounts. And it's not because of anything in his kit, it's not about his gameplay, it's not about the fact that he's a male character or a hydro character or whatever, it's about something else. And it's got to do with you guys. And essentially, one of the things that I've started to realize is that there are people that really actively watch my videos. They sort of take some of the recommendations to heart and then they'll decide, I'm going to pull for Kokomi, I'm going to save up for her rerun, I'm going to pull for Yaimiko. And a lot of the times it's almost like, as a content creator, you cover the character and then the next little kit comes around the block, the new banner drops, and suddenly everyone just talks about the new character, and yet here you are with your limited resources, or even if you've paid for the character and you're still building the character, still figuring out the character, because it does take a bit of resources and time to get your characters up and running properly. And now all of a sudden there's no more hype generated for your character whatsoever. Think of Zhongli, Hu Tao, Ganyu rerun banners, Ito even. It's almost like radio silence in terms of the sort of Genshin community as to what's currently happening with these characters, apart from the one or two odd meta discussions. It's almost like there's a bit of a lack of content for these characters, and yet people have pulled for them. And I don't want the same situation on my channel. It's like if you guys got characters because of my recommendation, we're going to see it through. We're going to keep playing with these characters for a bit of a significant time, up until I think we're at a stage where people are really sort of saying, you know what, just stop the Yai and Kokomi content, let's pick up a new character, we're all ready to move on, because I think that'll be way more interesting and relevant, because you've pulled for this character and now suddenly your content creator is not covering it anymore. And I think it's just, people don't really, I've seen some of the comments, people don't really like that. Some people they just want the good old-fashioned Kokomi content, whatever it is. And I think I want to sort of keep to that promise. So yeah guys, that is why I'm skipping Ayato. And I think in a certain sense I want to empathize more with free-to-play players. Of course we've got this account and our alternative account, and I'll definitely start trying to use that alternative account to do more Kokomi and Yai content. It's just a bit of a grind fest at the moment, but they're almost ready. They're almost ready for just general content, and hopefully it'll sort of serve as useful reference points that you guys can aim for with your builds and these sorts of things, and it might be just practically useful. I do get the fact that C6 R5 characters are a bit it's almost like a bit of a unicorn, and not everyone has them. They're a bit difficult to really, what you see is not really what you're going to get when you play on your account, and I perfectly understand it. So that's why we're definitely going to try and shift a bit of gears towards covering more F2P characters, as well as some other characters that might incidentally or even intentionally synergize well with Kokomi and Yaimiko. So some of the 4 stars that are not Bennett, Xiongling and Xingqiu, but everyone else that typically is neglected in the more sort of popular or more in the popular domain. So yeah guys, that's why we're skipping Ayato. Just as a sort of a bit of a last topic, you would have seen there on my latest community post, it's where I sort of posted the Xiongling sort of GIF and so on, where I'm talking about theory crafters. In a certain sense, there are theory crafters that have watched my channel and that have very openly criticized these sort of contents on their Twitch and so on, without really giving constructive reasons as to why they disagree. So in a certain sense, I don't really have any sympathy for them. And in my personal experience, a lot of what people say in terms of what the theory crafting and the maths and the spreadsheet show doesn't always really apply to practice. So that's why I'm poking fun at them. Please don't worry about it sort of affecting me or anything like that. I'm a grown-up. I've literally stood in an auditorium in front of hundreds of people, literally having hundreds of people disagree with me. This is now prior to COVID, and then when COVID hit, it was just yeah, there were only 1 or 2 people that came back and said, aha, now we understand why you guys sort of gave your recommendations as to how we should be positioned and so on. So it is definitely, I'm definitely used to like IRL pressure, like people literally sitting in front of me, like on screen, like in an auditorium, people like screaming and saying, but why this? I don't understand. You guys are talking rubbish. So a couple of comments on the internet is really not going to affect me. And honestly, I've got these strong opinions because I've got strong expectations for people not to mislead other people. One of the things that I find is that people will say, oh yeah, this team is so good. I mean, look at the spreadsheet maps. I mean, this proves that Tsukokumon is meta. And then other people are like, yeah, it isn't. And then it's just like, you always have these bun fights. And what I lack a lot of the time is finding people that can give you a solid framework to sort of understand why certain things are the way they are. Just because someone's got a spreadsheet that you can adjust values for doesn't really practically tell you, oh, you've got to avoid this enemy in this way. You've got to adjust your sort of expectations like this. This is the implication on your artifacts versus the upper and lower bounds. What happens if you don't crit? You just reset, etc., etc. I think the standard of theory crafting, especially as someone that comes from a very professional background in terms of getting statistics, especially like simulating stochastic environments, it's just for a game like Genshin Impact, it's pretty amateurish at best, and I'm gonna hold this opinion unapologetically. And it's not to irritate people, it's my opinion, and if people don't like it, then yeah, so what? I really don't care. At the end of the day, all I'm about is giving you guys practical knowledge in the game, demonstrating it, having you guys try it out, and if you agree, awesome, and if you disagree, then yeah, tell me why, and then hopefully we can come to a solution. So that's just what that post is about. Don't take it too seriously. But yeah, if you've been sticking around until now, thank you for watching, and cheers.